All right, today we have a very special guest today. He is actually one of my mentors probably like a year ago, really teaching me about fitness, business, and mindset. We're going to one of his locations to shoot a wonderful video, getting to kind of know him a little bit more and to add into a workout based off his regimen. All right, and here, what's up, Coach Royce? All right, so excited to get to working out. All right, but before that, you already know we gotta take the pre-workout. One is the Thumper Savage, which is their strongest pre-workout supplement. Yeah.
I like your deep questions, by the way.
Thank you.
Was that a full scoop?
Yeah, it was kind of a full scoop.
Yes, right.
Good luck. Good luck. After taking pre, you already know I have to put this in, replenish to help fuel the rest of the workout. They advertise it for runners and high endurance athletes, but honestly, I use it too for my day-to-day workout. Right? Yeah. Cool. All right, Roy, so how are we gonna choose our workout today?
So we're just gonna do one of these. We're gonna stop, and then wherever it stops, that's what we're gonna do, but we're gonna do it for 45 minutes.
Okay.
So primarily because I'd like to train endurance where I'm at right now. But if it doesn't work out, like there's no equipment, then you can re-roll.
Go ahead. All right, let's do it. Oh, keep it there. Keep it there.
Wait. Roll it first.
Oh my God.
You came in. You're in my world now.
No. Alright, so I would say Royce is actually a master at endurance training. And so this workout that I chose on accident is gonna be one of the hardest endurance ones that we're gonna do to this day.
So it should go like that. Yeah.
Not hard to balance.
So it goes back to the 400,
Yeah.
150, 400, 100, 450.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Coach Royce. We're doing an endurance workout that is going to be approximately 45 minutes. It's definitely just random, but it's perfect because I got a lot of endurance training I got to do. Let's get it.
Starting with 50 burpees, going to 400 meter row, 100 push-ups, 400 meter row again, 150 lunges, 400 meter row, 200 squats, and that would be the peak. And you're going back up all the way up to the 50 burpees. So you can look at that as being doubled of everything. I feel like I am one of those that are scared of injury, but I always get injured in the most stupidest way.
So you'll see my schedule. It's like
Super packed.
yeah. I don't like white spaces. When was the last time you did burpees?
Very long. At least, I don't even remember honestly. Definitely like 2 years ago. So Royce, I don't think I asked you this before. Who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Are you talking about like where I was raised?
Yeah, sure, anything.
I was born in the Philippines. Moved here when I was 7. Didn't speak any English whatsoever. Moved to Arizona. Went to college there. Took a part-time job as a trainer here. Fell in love with it. I didn't even know you can get paid to see people cry, you know? So I own 2 gyms here in Las Vegas. We're planning to do another big one here soon. Like we're gonna build one out.
Oh yeah?
A really large one.
Nice.
So that'll be exciting. It's kind of what I do now.
What got you into working out?
What got me into working out? I think you have affinities to be good at things. So when I was a kid, I was always pretty athletic, but I was short. I was a small guy, so I felt like I always had to do more. So when people were done practicing, I would practice more. And I think I just fell in love with that.
Like the grind or the chase?
The grind and like noticing that you're getting better, you're getting stronger. Eventually got to a point where it actually, you started to notice that it changed your mood.
Okay.
Like you were like, oh shoot, every time I'm sad, I feel better when I work out. Every time I'm mad, I feel better when I work out. Every time I'm joyful, I'm even more joyful. So it had all of these psychological effects that you didn't quite know was happening, but it happened. So that's what really got me into it. Probably aesthetics too. You're like, holy smokes, I got an ab.
That'd be like my main point. In the past, your goal was to catch up to your other competitors. So what has changed now? Why do you want to be fit? Why do you still incorporate fitness in your life?
That's a good question, man. Well, part of it is still, again, you know, just the mental side of things. But chasing like the bigger fitness stuff, that's way different. I think the biggest like inspiration to me that really moves me are always the ones that are outliers in some form or fashion. You know, I love normal people, but normal people can't move me. I've had this revelation that if I wanted to help more people, you almost have to become an outlier. Outlier in every aspect. So fitness, spirituality, relationships, all of it. So I like to lead by example, but lead by an extreme example.
Yeah.
So when I say something that's such a small step, it seems even smaller because they just know you're listening.
Yeah.
And it's helpful, I think. I could be wrong.
But it works for you.
But it works, but I also love it. I love knowing that I'm one of one.
Yeah.
Which everyone is a one of one, but knowing that for yourself is great.
Yeah, like a definitive fact that you are one of one. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? The people that do move you, who are you moved by?
I'm more moved by people that push themselves further even when they don't want to. Like I feel like when things happen, even the most minor thing, I come to realize like it's so easy to just be like, oh, like this isn't my way, I don't want to do it anymore. Like a roadblock almost, right? And so people that kind of like drive through that roadblock through discipline kind of moves me more because I strive to do that too, and I have a hard time doing it.
More water.
Okay. Right now we're just testing the movement because I have re-injured my knee. Guess how? By walking down the stairs. That's how you know you're getting old. When you're doing nothing but random stuff and then you just injure yourself. I think I pulled my LCL a little bit more than usual now, so that's why I can't full extend or full flex. But I've been stretching it, I've been working on it. It's a little better today, so I can do some movements, but it's kind of sad.
Oh, I can feel the tingles, Brody.
I told you, you took a whole scoop.
Sorry, I like it. Good. 6, 11. 16.
I feel like burpee is one of those that no matter how much you do, it never gets easier. I trained high rocks for a little bit.
Yeah.
And just kind of take off a little bit of weight.
I gotta ask you,
Yeah.
what is one of your biggest accomplishments or one of the things you're most proud of?
One of the most things I'm proud of.
Yeah. Or your biggest accomplishment?
Oh man. This is the problem with like, when you're constantly achieving things, you always just focus on things you lack. This is a hard question for me because it's like, you have to tell yourself. And sometimes the biggest accomplishments are often invisible. You know, one that's a big accomplishment to me that I didn't think that was having my son. Primarily because I thought I was gonna be a kind of a shit dad.
Why would you think that?
Probably because of what I've seen. My dad's great, but he wasn't there, you know? And I know why he wasn't. I mean, obviously a lot of the business stuff and the physical stuff that I've done, but that's fleeting, man.
You said that's fleeting?
It's very fleeting. It's there for a second, and then it disappears. Or you think that's gonna be your best accomplishment, and then when you get it, it's not even close. It's just one of the many experiences. Actually, sometimes the biggest accomplishments are the ones that are not even mine.
Can you give an example? What do you mean?
Like Kyler, for instance, him like overcoming his Achilles. So nice. I'm not part of it, but I'd like to think sometimes I am.
I haven't done 100 pull-ups in so long. My biggest accomplishment?
Yeah, what's yours?
Probably squatting 405. I never thought I'll be able to hit that in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I always imagined 405 deadlift, 315 squat, and 2 plate bench. That was just like, I told myself once I hit that, I'm satisfied, I don't need to go any further. And then once I pushed myself further to 405, it was like, it's like you set a goal for yourself, and it showed me that I'm able to go as further than I thought I would.
Yeah, what do you think it's like? You feel like that squat unlocks something in your mind?
Yeah, it's because my body actually felt like it wasn't able to do it, but in my mind, all I told myself was, oh, this is light. So it forced my body to believe it was light. I kept thinking like, oh, this is when I'm gonna bail. This is it. I can't do it. But then I did it, which is kind of crazy. YouTube, for one, I feel like who's gonna watch me? Why am I doing this? I got so much other people to watch. This is hard. I'm gonna fail. But like, I just continue at it, and I just put a video, 1 to 2 video out each week, and I now grew up to 240 subscribers. I never thought I was gonna pass 100, to be honest. Curious is a power. Further explain?
I think it's a necessary ingredient to fill the gap. And that gap is like growth. If you don't ask enough, you also won't gain enough.
So how does one get over the fear of asking? Because I know a lot of people, they're scared to put themselves out there, reach out and ask questions.
How do they get over the fear?
Of asking, yeah. Because curiosity is always about asking questions, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people are scared to ask or scared to put themselves out there. So how does one battle that and become curious and fearless?
I mean, if you think about it, like your parents would be like, stop asking questions. Don't ask dumb questions in classes. I actually was the kid that got that a bunch. They're like, why are you asking that question? I just really
You felt dumb.
I felt dumb.
Yeah.
So it only took years to really just like lean into it. I think you have to identify the lie you told yourself first.
What would be the lie?
That don't ask dumb questions.
Don't ask no questions.
The smartest people have more questions than answers.
We gotta own that in range at the top. Right?
Wait, say that again for the camera.
Yeah, questions are more fruitful than answers.
So if you guys really want to grow, take his advice. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Because another quote that I go by that's similar to that is the answer is always no unless you ask. Almost done. Halfway. Kinda. Go back in time and give yourself one advice. How old and what advice would it be?
25. Don't change anything. Just have more fun.
25. Don't change anything. Have more fun. Why that advice at that age?
And I just think in my 20s was just grind, and pain is a good thing. And which is, there's good pain, but then there's like unnecessary pain.
So don't be too hard on yourself.
Just have fun, dude. Right? That's it. I think a lot of times people will try to change something. I'd argue you can have an entirely different life.
What do you think is a turning point in your life so far? Like, what was that wake up moment for you?
It's gonna sound crazy, but the first time I made 6 figures as a trainer, that was actually one of the most depressing moments.
Depressing?
Yeah.
That's an interesting word that a lot of people probably won't use. Why was it depressing?
It's not like what you think it is.
Like it's not enough?
No, there's plenty enough, bro. 50,000 is plenty enough. 40,000 is plenty enough.
So what was depressing?
I delayed fun.
Oh.
And I have to remind myself that all the time. Every benchmark I hit, you don't need to delay any of that.
So as a high achiever, business owner, a father, a family man, your schedule is always packed. So how do you get more fun?
Every week you ask yourself, which one was the best part of your day? And actually in my calendar, I'll highlight it gold. And then you start to see a pattern. And then you ask yourself at the end of that week, how can I do more of that? And how can I do less of this? And then you show up differently, dude. I was the angry version before you met me.
You're an angry version?
Yeah.
How angry? I can't. So like, ever since I know him, as far as I know him, he's always smiling, good energy, just like brightens the room, right? So I can't imagine an angry version.
So my angry is not yelling. My angry is disappearing, which is really interesting. So When I'm angry, you don't see me. When I'm happy, I'm out there.
Do you think you disappeared because you want kind of like reset your mindset, reset yourself, and then you bring yourself out there?
No, I did a lot of work on this. I have Filipino parents. I don't know if you guys have Asian parents, but when they're mad, they yell. It eventually became reflection, which I think is the healthiest version of it. Part of me not yelling and getting angry is like telling I don't want to experience that. I think there's better ways to guide people. But I also know like I have a lot of good conversations with my dad. He did the best he could. Because his past, it's crazy. It wasn't even a spanking, it was like
Ruler beating.
It was abuse sometimes, yeah. So he did the best he could, so he did yell. He just yelled instead of hit. And I think something that's really healing, that's really got me closer to my dad is there's things that I hated about him that made me very good at what I do. And then there's things that I loved about my mom that gave me a massive disadvantage now. Right, so for my dad, he yelled a lot. And that was his alert, that was how he taught. He didn't know how to do it, he would just yell. I think partly why I became a better coach is because I didn't want to do that. I started crafting words and influence, like created a natural tool for that. And then for my mom, she was a perfect mom. Like the perfect woman in the world.
Never yelled.
Yeah, never yelled. Took care of everybody, clean, super disciplined. Worked 2-3 jobs. But then when you go into a relationship, you expect that from every woman. My wife will tell you. But I mean, now it's like I wouldn't want. My wife stands up for herself. My mom never really did. So there's going to be things that whenever you have a kid that you'll do some amazing things, but it's going to give them a disadvantage. And then there's going to be some things that they hate about you that's going to set them up for success.
They say you're never prepared to have a kid, right? When you get here, were you prepared, or how did you prepare yourself?
One thing that I do believe, kids don't mess up your life, they only amplify who you are. So if you're already like anxious and stressed out, it'll only amplify that. But if you really care about people, it amplified that for me. So it amplified my joy, it amplified my anxiety, and it amplified everything. They're multipliers. They're not removers. It's one of my biggest things. I was like, oh, kids changed me. I was like, no, I really think you were like that in the first place. Just showed it even more. So my advice, become the best version you possibly can right now, and then add that in.
For anybody that want to try this workout, refer back to the beginning where you can see this. Our goal is to finish it in 45 minutes. Royce is probably going to be able to do that. Maybe an hour, but this is pretty tough. You should give it a try. I was talking to my therapist. She made me realize children and parents, the dynamic is very unique because they both know what needs to be done to kind of like make the relationship better, but they're both afraid to pull the trigger to say the same. Like for example, right, as Asian household, some of you might know, it's very hard for us to say I love you. Yeah. So like,
I say it all the time.
That's good. That's wonderful. Like I
agree.
I had a hard time saying that to my dad, and it was only until recently I started saying it each time we have a phone conversation, even if it's like 2 minutes. Just to be like, oh, you want to get food or something? Each time I hang up, I say, I love you, Dad. Like he was kind of taken back, but also like relieved that because I said it first, he can say it too.
Yeah, I had a coach that told me, how long do you think an average human being lives? It's like 75 is like my answer. He asked me, how old are my parents? They're like 60s. How many times do I see them? A year. Maybe once a year. So they're like, so you're telling me you're only gonna see them 15 more times. So it just blew my mind. Stuff like that. You're like, dude, these guys are a big part of me. You know, it's just silly to think you're the smartest generation that's ever lived. You guys remember like Game Shark?
Yeah.
How like you have the cheat codes in that little thing? Your parents are that.
Yeah.
Not every code you have to use, but they have a lot of Game Shark codes.
I hated taking tests because it just kind of showed me how stupid I am. But I guess like what a failure I am each time I get a failing grade. And so I start to be fearful of tests. If I tell myself, oh no, this is a test, let's just see. Like there's no pressure. If it doesn't do well, let's see what else we can change. And so I think that kind of like lifts a lot of weight off my shoulder.
Like you see the successful people, they'll fail like 30 times in a week, but they learn from each one. No one will really watch their failures. They'll only see the algorithm, which is normally just winning. Yeah, dude, there's a lot of fails.
If you had to go back in time and choose a profession that's not fitness, what would it be?
Acting.
Acting?
Yeah, I know. I thought about this a long time.
Actually,
That's how fast I did it.
Did you try?
No.
Why not?
I'm constantly recreating myself, and you're probably recreating yourself all the time. So being able to do that for a profession, that's cool. But you could become any actor you want, but I think at that platform, that's what I would have said. You have the ability to recreate yourself.
Yeah.
The good and the bad.
You think you'll be a villain or a hero?
You know, I admire both. You know, some of my favorite actors are villains, but I do like the heroes for sure. Or the villains portrayed as heroes.
Like Punisher?
Punisher, Joker.
Oh yeah, Joker or the Penguin. Have you seen that TV show?
I haven't seen that one. I heard
It's
that's
actually
good.
so good.
It just humanizes it,
Yeah.
you know? And it just goes to tell you the perspective.
Yeah.
It's not made for me.
What motto do you say to yourself to push yourself further?
Oh,
MOTCO, motto.
Oh, motto.
Right, you still feel a lot of hamstring?
There's a lot, I guess, right? Depends on what framework you're in. My first motto, just to get to the workout, is the hardest rep is the first step. And I've always known that, even like with Murph, when I did the Murph. It wasn't the air squats, it wasn't the pull-ups, it wasn't the mile run. It's just like
The start?
taking the first step. Because that first step creates this like massive momentum. And I think chemically, your brain starts to create things as soon as you get that first rep.
Yeah.
So there's that. You know, in the past, like it was kind of like prove them wrong. But then now it's like, I'm gonna push to this amount to potentially just help that person, like that one person that I don't know about. So the first time it was like for someone,
Yeah. Like you have a specific person.
specific target, someone you really hate, someone that told you that you couldn't do it. But then that'll fuel you for a little bit.
Yeah.
But what fuels you even more is that person watching your video. Because I watched that video for the first time for like random like YouTubers.
Yeah.
And dude, it got me out of bed.
So I mean, I would work
So or it got you to do something harder than you thought you would. So I think about that person, which is like I don't know who that person is. So that's what inspires me. That's another mantra for sure. You're doing this for someone you'll never meet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's inspiring to me. Motivating to me for sure. So
Alright, so we just finished the workout. It was a super tough workout. But I got one last question to ask you. So what is one thing you would like to tell the viewers? Anything on your mind. It could be something that you learned from your past, motivational, something fun, whatever you want the viewers to know.
I think there's more damage when you're trying to identify your why.
More damage identifying your why.
Just focusing on what's in front of me and then just like helping that person.
Is it almost like living in the moment?
Live in the moment, yeah. Like you don't have to define your why.
Okay.
That's one formula for, I guess, a framework for happiness, but it doesn't necessarily have to be yours either. So just don't get stuck on that.
Yeah.
It can be very paralyzing and it can be very depressing. A lot of your anxiety would stem from that, I think.
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta define my why, I gotta be doing this. And I guess not having a why is a why. You know, on its own. So that's what I would tell the viewers. Just see what's in front of you, man.
Okay.
And just do that.
Just keep on going, even if you don't even know why.
More like, as I'm researching marketing and all of these things, like if you look at Steve Jobs, like that was one of his biggest things, and it's like millions and millions of views. Is like find your passion and do that. But you look at his history. He did like calligraphy. And
Yeah.
he did the hippie stuff. Come on, man. Like when you were born, you'd be like, I'm gonna change the world by creating this iPhone.
Yeah.
Come on. It's a set of things that happen in front of you, and you're not going to know what that big why is. So I think that can create more damage, believing that.
You need to find a why in order to do something.
And then you can live life.
Yeah.
It's very damaging. And that might work for some, but it doesn't have to work for all. And I'd almost consider that there's more people that don't have whys than do.
Yeah.
And they're living a blissful life. They're just experiencing it. So that's my theory.
Amazing workout. if they want to find you, where can they find you? Let them know.
If you are trying to work out in a small group training environment, you can find us at Nevada Fitness. If you guys want to listen to our podcast, it's called The Coaches Podcast, or you could just probably just type in my name and you'll find it pretty quickly. So yeah, that's it.
All right, and thank you everybody that watched this video. If you liked the video, click that like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.